All right, so picture this. You're prepping for an interview to be an automotive engineer, and you want to totally nail it. That's what we're going to dive into today, helping you feel confident and prepared to land that dream job.
Right.
We've got some awesome sample interview questions
Okay.
from RoleCatcher, a platform
Yeah.
designed to give you a serious edge in your job search.
Cool.
So we'll unpack those, sprinkle in some insights from RoleCatcher's Automotive Engineer Career Guide, and even touch on how their AI can help you tailor your answers.
Sounds like a plan. Getting ready for an interview can be pretty nerve-wracking.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So hopefully we can take some of the stress
Right.
out of the process for people.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it with the first question.
Okay.
Can you explain the process you follow when designing a new automotive component? This one's all about showing your structured thinking and problem-solving approach.
You know what's really fascinating about this question is they're looking for more than just a list of steps.
Yeah.
Like they want to understand how you think,
Right.
how you approach problems.
Absolutely. So instead of just saying concept design, prototype test,
Right?
you can impress them by highlighting the decisions you make at each stage.
Exactly. For example, you could say something like, when I'm in the concept phase, I always start by considering the specific requirements of the component.
Okay, yeah.
Its function, the environment it'll operate in, and any relevant safety standards.
And don't forget to mention your technical skills.
Oh, for sure.
You could add, then I use CAD software, and mention specific software you use to create detailed 3D models for analysis and simulation.
That's a great way to connect your skills to the process.
Yeah.
Be prepared for a follow-up question.
Okay.
Like, what are some challenges you've faced in the design process, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think this is where a specific anecdote can really make you stand out.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever have to redesign a component to meet new emission standards? Or maybe you had to get creative with materials due to supply chain issues.
Definitely. Those are really good examples.
Yeah.
Sharing those experiences shows you can think on your feet and adapt to unexpected situations.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to question number 2.
Okay.
How do you stay up to date with the latest automotive technology trends?
Ooh.
This one's all about showcasing your passion for the field and your commitment to continuous learning.
And it's particularly important, in the automotive industry, which is just evolving so rapidly.
Totally. So you definitely don't want to just give a generic answer like, I read industry publications.
Right.
Instead, pick a recent technological advancement that excites you and talk about it in detail.
Exactly. For instance, you could say, I'm really fascinated by the advancements in solid-state battery technology. For electric vehicles, I've been following the research on their potential to increase energy density and safety. And I recently read an article.
Oh, nice.
And then you can mention a specific publication about, and then mention a specific detail from that publication.
Perfect.
Which I found particularly insightful.
Nice. That shows you're genuinely interested.
Yeah.
And you're actively seeking out information.
For sure.
And be prepared for the interviewer to dig deeper.
Okay.
With a follow-up, like, how do you see this technology impacting the future of the automotive industry?
Right. They want to see that you can think critically about the bigger picture.
Absolutely.
And the implications of these advancements.
Okay, let's shift gears to question number 3.
Okay.
How do you ensure that your designs meet safety and regulatory standards? This is a crucial one because safety is paramount in automotive engineering.
Of course.
And it's an area where RoleCatcher's Career Guide offers some valuable insights. The guide highlights the increasing importance of functional safety standards, like IS 13462, particularly with the rise of autonomous driving features.
That makes sense.
It also emphasizes the need for engineers to have a deep understanding of testing procedures, risk assessments, and failure analysis techniques.
So when answering this question, you can say something like, I am well versed in functional safety standards like ISO 26262.
Okay.
And I always incorporate safety considerations from the earliest stages of the design process.
Yeah.
For example, I conduct thorough risk assessments and use simulation tools to analyze potential failure modes.
That shows you're not just aware of the standards, but you actively apply them in your work.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to a question.
Okay.
That's all about collaboration.
All right.
Can you describe a project where you had to work in a team environment? Teamwork is essential in engineering.
Yeah.
And interviewers want to hear about your experiences.
Here's where you can really shine by sharing a compelling story. Choose a project where you played a key role.
Yeah.
And the team achieved a positive outcome.
Got it. And instead of just describing the project,
Right.
focus on the challenges and how you overcame them as a team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, you could say, in a recent project, we were tasked with designing a new suspension system for a high-performance vehicle.
Okay.
We faced a tight deadline and had to overcome some technical hurdles related to material selection and weight distribution. I took the initiative to, and then describe your specific contribution, which allowed us to, and describe the positive outcome.
I like that it highlights your proactive approach.
Yeah.
And your ability to contribute effectively within a team.
Exactly.
And speaking of teamwork, this is a great opportunity to mention RoleCatcher's network management tool.
Oh, yeah.
It helps you organize your contacts and facilitate collaboration, which is especially valuable in large engineering projects.
Good point. Highlighting tools and resources that enhance teamwork shows you're thinking about efficiency and collaboration.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Let's tackle a couple of questions that often come up together.
Okay.
How do you approach problem solving in your work? And how do you manage your time and prioritize tasks in a fast-paced environment? These are essentially two sides of the same coin.
Absolutely. And instead of answering them separately, you can combine them to show how your problem-solving approach is intertwined with effective time management.
For example, you could say, when I encounter a complex problem, my first step is to clearly define the scope and gather all the necessary information.
Okay.
Then I break down the problem into smaller, more manageable tasks and prioritize them based on their urgency and impact I use.
Yeah.
And then mention any specific tools or techniques you use to stay organized and track my progress.
That shows you have a structured approach to problem solving and you're not afraid to get into the nitty-gritty details of how you manage your time.
Right. Okay, let's move on to question number 6.
Okay.
How do you ensure that your designs are cost-effective and efficient? This one's all about finding that sweet spot between performance and budget.
It's a skill that interviewers highly value.
Yes.
Because it demonstrates your understanding of the business side of engineering.
Exactly. You want to showcase your ability to balance design considerations with cost constraints. So you could say something like, I always consider the cost implications of my design choices. From material selection to manufacturing processes, I use tools like, and then mention any specific tools you might use to conduct cost-benefit analyses and optimize designs for efficient manufacturing.
And be ready for the interviewer to ask for a specific example.
Okay.
They might say something like, can you give an example of a design choice where you had to make a trade-off between cost and performance?
Ooh, that's where you can pull from your experience and talk about a time when you had to make a tough decision.
Exactly.
Maybe you chose a slightly more expensive material that offered significant weight reduction, leading to fuel savings and lower emissions in the long run. Explain your reasoning and how you justified the choice to stakeholders.
Great example. It shows you can make informed decisions that benefit both the product and the bottom line.
Okay. Question number 7 is all about leadership.
Okay.
What leadership experience do you have in managing a team of engineers? Now, even if you haven't held a formal management role, don't let this question intimidate you.
Leadership comes in many forms.
Right.
And interviewers are looking for evidence of your ability to motivate, delegate, and communicate effectively.
Exactly. Think about times when you've taken initiative, mentored others, or led a project team.
And if you're looking to develop your leadership skills further, RoleCatcher's Career Guide can be a valuable resource.
Oh, cool.
It outlines a clear career progression for automotive engineers, highlighting potential leadership roles like chief engineer or director of engineering.
So you could say something like, while I haven't held a formal management title, I've had opportunities to lead project teams and mentor junior engineers. I'm passionate about developing my leadership skills further. And I'm particularly interested in the career path outlined in RoleCatcher's Career Guide that leads to roles like chief engineer, where I can have a greater impact on technical direction and team development.
That shows you're ambitious and you have a clear vision for your career growth.
Okay, we've got one more question to tackle in this section.
Right.
And it's all about your creative problem-solving skills. Can you describe a project where you had to use your creativity to solve a problem? This is your chance to tell a captivating story that showcases your ability to think outside the box.
For sure.
Choose a project where you faced a unique challenge and had to come up with an innovative solution. And here's a tip from the world of AI. RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you tailor your answers to highlight relevant skills. like creativity for specific roles. It analyzes job descriptions and suggests ways to emphasize the skills that matter most to the employer.
That's a fantastic tool.
Yeah.
It's like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket.
Exactly. So when you're crafting your answer to this question, think about the specific requirements of the role you're interviewing for.
Right.
And how your creative problem-solving skills align with those requirements.
And don't be afraid to get into the details. Explain the thought process behind your solution, the challenges you faced, and the impact your creativity had on the project's success.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, but we're just getting started.
Yeah.
We'll explore even more essential interview questions and insights to help you ace that automotive engineer interview.
Cool.
Stay tuned.
All right. Welcome back to our deep dive on acing your automotive engineering interview. We just finished talking about showcasing your creativity, and now let's focus on something just as important, your experience.
You gotta, even if you're early in your career, you can still highlight experiences that demonstrate your problem-solving abilities. Like the interviewer might ask something like, tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a complex technical issue.
This question is all about showing how you approach challenges methodically. Remember, they're interested in the process, not just the solution.
Right, so you'll want to walk them through your steps, like how you identified the root cause of the problem.
Exactly. You could say something like, first, I gathered all the relevant data, including error codes, sensor readings, and system logs. Then I analyzed this information to narrow down the potential causes.
And don't forget to mention the tools or techniques you used.
Right, you could add, I used a diagnostic scanner to check the vehicle's electronic control units and a multimeter to test various components.
It's also a good idea to mention if you collaborated with others or had to research solutions.
Definitely, teamwork and resourcefulness are highly valued in engineering. And finally, wrap up your answer by highlighting what you learned from the experience.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. The interviewer might throw in a curveball, like, what are your thoughts on the impact of autonomous vehicles on the automotive industry?
This isn't a technical question, but it assesses your industry knowledge and ability to think critically about trends.
You want to demonstrate you're not just focused on nuts and bolts, but you're also aware of the bigger picture.
A good approach is to discuss both the potential benefits and the challenges of autonomous vehicles.
You could say, I believe autonomous vehicles have the potential to significantly improve safety and efficiency, potentially reducing accidents and traffic congestion.
And then add, however, there are also challenges to address, such as ensuring cybersecurity, establishing clear legal frameworks, and managing the potential impact on employment in the transportation sector.
It's also a good opportunity to tie your response back to your career aspirations.
Absolutely. For example, you could say, I'm particularly interested in the software development aspect of autonomous vehicles and how we can create robust and reliable systems.
Okay, back to some of the more practical questions. Interviewers often ask about your ability to handle deadlines, such as, how do you manage your time and prioritize tasks when working under pressure?
This question is about showcasing your organizational skills and ability to remain calm under pressure.
You can mention the tools or techniques you use, like creating detailed project plans or utilizing task management software.
And don't just tell them, show them.
Right. Provide a specific example of a time when you successfully delivered a project under a tight deadline. Talk about the challenges, how you overcame them, and what you learned.
All right, let's address the question that everyone anticipates. What are your salary expectations? This one can feel a bit tricky, but it's important to be prepared.
Do your research beforehand. Use resources like RoleCatcher's salary data or websites like Glassdoor to understand the typical salary range for similar positions in your area.
Remember, you want to be realistic, but also confident in your worth.
Exactly. You can give them a range based on your experience and qualifications.
And here's a tip. Frame your response in terms of the value you bring to the company, highlighting your skills achievements and how you can contribute to their success.
Now let's talk about a question that often comes at the end of an interview. Do you have any questions for us? This isn't just a formality. It's your chance to show you're engaged and genuinely interested.
It's a great opportunity to gather valuable information and make a lasting impression.
Exactly. Prepare some questions beforehand. You can ask about the company culture, their upcoming projects, or the specific challenges of the role.
Avoid asking questions that can easily be answered online or those solely focused on your personal benefit like vacation time or work-from-home policies.
Right. You want to demonstrate you're thinking about the bigger picture and how you can contribute to the team. Now, before we wrap up part 2, let's revisit RoleCatcher's AI. It can be incredibly helpful in preparing for those interview questions.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI goes beyond just providing answers. It can analyze your responses and provide personalized feedback to help you refine your communication style.
It can help you identify areas where you can be more concise or where you need to provide more specific examples.
It's like having a personal interview coach providing insights and helping you build confidence.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up our deep dive with some final tips and insights to help you drive your automotive engineering career to success.
Welcome back to the final part of our automotive engineer interview. Deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from technical questions to leadership and creative problem solving. But now let's focus on those crucial final touches that can make you really stand out from other candidates.
You're right. Even with solid answers to those questions, the overall impression you leave can make a big difference.
For sure. So let's talk about a few key elements that can boost your interview game. First up, enthusiasm.
Okay.
You're interviewing for a role in a fast-paced, innovative industry.
Right. You got to show them you're excited to be there.
Yeah, it's not enough to just answer the questions correctly. You want to convey your passion for automotive engineering. Yeah, show them you're genuinely excited about the work and the opportunity. Let your enthusiasm shine through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A genuine smile and good eye contact can go a long way.
Definitely, it makes you more personable.
But, enthusiasm is great, but it's also important to balance it with professionalism.
Absolutely. Dress appropriately, arrive on time, or even a few minutes early, and be courteous to everyone you interact with, from the receptionist to the hiring manager.
It's true. You're being evaluated from the moment you step into the building.
Exactly. First impressions matter.
Okay, so now let's talk about a question that often trips people up.
Okay.
What are your weaknesses?
Oh, the dreaded weakness question.
I know, right? But don't worry, there's a strategic way to handle this.
How's that?
The key is to be honest and choose a weakness that is real, but also manageable and something you're actively working to improve.
Oh, okay. I see. So, for instance, you could say, I sometimes get so focused on the technical details that I can overlook the bigger picture. However, I'm actively working on improving my communication and collaboration skills to ensure everyone is on the same page.
That's a great example. It shows self-awareness and a commitment to growth, which are really valuable qualities in any candidate.
That's a good point.
And definitely steer clear of those cliche responses like, I'm a perfectionist or I work too hard.
Right. Those can sound insincere and don't provide any real insights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's talk about one final but crucial aspect following up after the interview.
Okay.
It's a simple step, but it often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
It's a great way to reiterate your interest and leave a positive final impression.
Right. You want to stay top of mind.
Exactly. Send a thank you note within 24 hours of the interview, expressing your appreciation for their time and reconfirming your enthusiasm for the role.
You can even mention something specific you discussed during the interview to personalize the note.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It shows you were paying attention.
Yes, and if you don't hear back within a reasonable time frame, it's perfectly acceptable to follow up politely to inquire about the status of your application.
Definitely. Okay, so to recap our deep dive, remember to showcase your technical skills, your problem-solving approach, and your passion for the industry.
Highlight your teamwork and leadership experiences, and don't be afraid to let your creativity and innovative thinking shine.
And use resources like RoleCatcher's Career Guide and their AI-powered tools to fine-tune your answers and tailor them to the specific role you're targeting.
And most importantly, be yourself. Let your personality and your passion come through, and you'll be well on your way to landing that dream job.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
We hope this deep dive has been helpful. We're confident that with the right preparation and a little help from RoleCatcher, you'll be able to confidently navigate that automotive engineer interview and accelerate your career. Good luck.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into automotive engineer interview prep. We hope you found this information helpful, and we wish you all the best in your job search. We'll catch you in the next one.